Hey, it's Ruby. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reading, rating, and ranking Emily Henry books. We're going to focus on these 4 plus Funny Story. She's written some other ones before these, but these are the ones that we're going to focus on. I did read Funny Story in a previous reading vlog, which I'll go ahead and link up in a card. Definitely check that one out because I felt like that was a really good reading vlog. I really had a lot of fun and I really did what I wanted to do, and it was to have multiple check-ins with the books, and I think that's what we're gonna do. And then I have read Happy Place twice already. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I love this. I think this is my favorite romance book to date. That being said, I am pretty new to romance and I'm trying to read a lot more romance. I feel like I've been very neglectful with fantasy. As a fantasy reader, that's kind of crazy, but I just discovered romance pretty much this year and I have been very loyal to it. So I'm still trying to, get through the genre, but as of now, this is definitely my favorite romance book ever. So Happy Place is very polarizing. And in doing a little research for this reading vlog, what I found was that people either love it or hate it because apparently, and I don't know, we're gonna form our opinions during this reading vlog, but apparently it's quite different from the rest, and I can see it just reading Funny Story. This one was more heavy hitting. This one did cover deeper things. I felt like it was more meaningful. Not that Funny Story wasn't, but I just felt like it was a lot more lighthearted than this. This one definitely hit me in the feels and made me reflect, and I think that a large part of it is because I was deeply connected to the female character. I saw myself in her. I've gone through things that she's going through and I feel still things that she's feeling. So I think that that's why this resonated with me so much. And we will wrap up thoughts because I do want to talk about this a little more, but we'll wrap up at the end. Thoughts, ratings, rankings. I'm not gonna rate these until the end because I learned my lesson with Funny Story. I gave it a rating right away and I shouldn't have. I should have sat and reflected on it. So I think we're gonna start with Beach Read. It seems to be everybody's favorite. People really love book lovers also, and it seems like people have people we meet on vacation at the end of their list all the time. So we'll see how it goes, because I feel like I might have a little different opinion since, like I said, Funny Story, I feel like everybody loved it more than Happy Place, and I love Happy Place way more than Funny Story. So let's get started with Beach Read. Let's do some check-ins as we read these 3 books and then have final thoughts at the end. I'm really excited because I told you with Ali Hazelwood books that I figured that I would like them but not love them, and that was true. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna love these, but now reading Funny Story, was it a one-off thing that I was gonna love this and then just like these? I'm curious, so let's find out. I'm back with an update, but before the update, let me tell you that I just finished laughing my ass off at myself at my own expense because I was sitting at my desk. I read in bed with Butters, and then I came and I was sitting at my desk responding to a lengthy email, and the whole time the whole time I was reading this email, I'm thinking, damn, it smells good. And I spent a good minute on this email. I spent like 25 minutes because I had to respond, and I kept thinking, wow, I wonder what the neighbor's cooking. It smells really good. It's me. I'm the one cooking. I'm so stupid. Like, how could I have forgotten that I'm the one cooking? And you would ask yourself, how would you forget that? Well, I put some ribs in the crock pot about 2 hours ago, and I forgot that I did that. I'm so stupid. I was like, it smells so good. It's me. Anyway. So Beach Read. In this one, we follow January and Gus, or Augustus, and it's told from January's point of view. She is a romance writer and Gus is a literary fiction writer, and they're really good at what they do. They've both been on the best-selling list with their respective novels, and they both have successful careers. They know each other because they used to go to college together. But after college, after they graduated, they kind of lost touch. They didn't really keep up with each other. And when they were in college, they were school rivals. They were rivals because they were both such good writers that they were always trading off, like winning accolades and getting awards and all that. So like he would get this one and then she would get that one and then he would get this one, and you know, it was kind of that vibe. And January always felt that Gus was a little bully to her, like he was mean to her because he would kind of, in her eyes, belittle her writing. Oh, like silly little woman romance writer. And that's like what she thought. Is it what he thinks? We don't know yet, but we're getting her perspective, and that's what she thought. So she always kept up with him. After they graduated, she would look up what he was working on, what he published. She kept that little competitive spirit, and we don't know if he did or not, but she did. And when they both got on the best-selling list, he was a couple spots higher than her, much to her dismay. So in the beginning of the book, obviously they're a lot older. I think she's like 20 something, like in her latter 20s, and her life is kind of falling apart. She has issues with her parents. Her dad recently passed away, so that's obviously devastating to her. But she's found out some stuff about her parents that she didn't know, and it hits her, man. It really just knocks the wind out of her. And not only that, but she was in a long-term relationship with this perfect man, and they broke up. And so now she's left alone, having to move out of his place, get her own place. So she moves into this beach house, and the beach house happens to be next to Augustus's beach house, and that's kind of how they reconnect. And they pick up with their little relationship. They're always throwing quips at each other. They still have that competitive spirit, and because of that, they decide to make a bet. Obviously, a lot happens, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. But they decide to make a little bet that she will write in his genre and he will write in her genre, and they will publish these books under pen names. And whoever gets the book bought first wins the bet. And the bet, there's like things, right? Like they'll each promote the book, blah, 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 blah. Like they have terms. And that's where I'm at right now. They're both feeling in a rut. They both have writer's block in their respective fields, and she accepts because she feels like right now she's just not feeling romance. She just got dumped. She just found out these devastating things about her parents. She just doesn't feel like she's in the right headspace for romance, and she thinks she can write these boy novels very well because the female rage is strong in her right now. So she actually wakes up super hyped, super ready to write this book, and she starts typing away. So that's the update for now. I'm gonna go ahead and continue reading and then check up on my damn ribs now that I remember that there's ribs cooking, and I'm gonna have to transfer them to the oven and all that. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, I hope that I hope all of these are 5-star reads, just like Happy Place, because that's what I want. I want Emily Henry to be my queen. So it's getting so gloomy, and you know what that means? That makes me so happy. But oh, it's so nice. Anyway, let's get back to reading. I finished Beach Read, and unfortunately I didn't really love this one, which is why I didn't check in with you that often. I felt like in the middle of the book, I felt like the pacing slowed down. At least I started getting a little bored and not loving it, but I pushed through for the video. Had I not been filming this video, I might have put it down and picked it up another time. I just didn't love it. I did like the characters, but I didn't fall in love with them, and I did not fall in love with their love. Their personal struggles that they were dealing with, it didn't really resonate with me. My favorite part though was her issues, I guess, with her dad when she read the letters that her dad left her. I really like that aspect of it, but other than that, I just felt like it was okay. It wasn't anything that I want to reread ever, probably, which is unfortunate. And not what I wanted to feel. But reading this one got me thinking that I think I was too harsh on funny stories. So maybe in the end we'll redo all the ratings and all that. But for now, I'm not going to give this a rating, although I have one in mind. But I want to keep going. And after I finish them all, then we'll do the ratings and the ranks. But I didn't love this one, which I know that this one is so many people's favorite, but I just didn't love it. So let's move on. I think I'm going to pick up People We Meet on Vacation because it's the last one that I have on ebook. And then book lovers, I'll just pick up the physical copy because I have it. So we're going to move on to this one. I think this one's a little more lighthearted from what I understand. But once I get into it a little bit, then we'll talk about it and what's going on. Good morning. I just finished getting ready and I do have an update on People We Meet on Vacation. So this so far is pretty good. I'm a little more than halfway so far, and honestly I'm liking it better than Beach Read, which I know that everybody loved Beach Read more and I really wanted to love it. I just didn't. So far, what's going on in this book? We have our main characters, Poppy and Alex, and Poppy and Alex are best friends. They've been best friends since they met during, I think, their first year of college. And every summer they would take a summer trip, a vacation, because she was all about traveling. She just loves to travel. And there's obviously something deeper under all that. But for now, we just know that she loves to travel and she doesn't want to be stuck in her little hometown in Ohio. So he ends up going on these trips with her every single summer, and it ends up turning into something professional because she ends up working for this magazine company that's all about traveling, and she's really good at her job. And so Alex goes with her to all these vacations. It literally says in the back, 2 best friends, 10 summer trips, 1 last chance to fall in love. So something happens, and they keep alluding to the fact that something happens in the last trip and they stop going on vacation, they stop talking to each other, period. Like something happened and we don't know. They're really dragging that out. But something about this book is it's being told into different timelines. It's reminding me of Happy Place, where we have the current and then the past. Although Happy Place did it a little different because they're saying like happy place, unhappy place, but essentially it's just 2 different timelines. This is doing the same thing. So we have we have the present, and then there'll be like 10 summers ago, 9 summers ago, and we're seeing their trips and their friendship develop and all that. So I do like that about that because it's reminding me of Happy Place, and Happy Place is my favorite Emily Henry book and one of my faves of all time. So yeah, I really like that, but we don't know so far what happened to break these people up, even though they were never together, but it just broke up their friendship. And at the beginning of the book, Poppy's telling her other friend that she's just unhappy. She just doesn't feel like work's not doing it for her anymore. She's not had very successful relationships and she's just alone and she's lonely. And the friend's like, well, when did you feel happy? And she tells her that when she was with Alex at the vacations, but obviously they're not doing that anymore. So Poppy ends up just calling him and being like, hey, do you want to go on a vacation with me? And he says yes. And she is thinking that she's going to plan this to be the best vacation ever so that they can rekindle their friendship and she can be happy again and have him in her life. So yeah, we will continue on with this. This is such a quick read. I will let you know when I finish it what my final thoughts are. Honestly, right now, I don't see this being more than a 4-star. But I think that it wouldn't be any less than that if we keep going how we're going. I think it's fast paced. I like it. It's not too serious. There's nothing like super deep going on. But we'll see how it ends. I finished People We Meet on Vacation, and honestly, it was good. I liked it more than, Beach Read. But if I'm being honest, I'm probably going to end up giving this a 3.75 because I felt like it was a little dragged out. I did feel like I wanted to know already what happened in the trip to Croatia because they keep saying something, like she keeps bringing it up that something happened on the trip to Croatia, and it just took entirely too long to tell us what happened. Although you kind of know. You kind of know that something probably happened between them and it went south. So it wasn't like a huge reveal or anything, but I wanted to just know the details already. Like I was like, okay, tell me already. So yeah, I think because of that, I knocked it down to 3.75. And then it was just okay. I mean, their issues with each other and within their families and all that, it was just like, okay. It wasn't anything too crazy, not too deep, not too serious. It was just more themselves dealing with their own shit. But, you know, it was fun. It was fun. I did like it better than Beach Read because although this was frustrating me because they weren't telling you what happened in Croatia, it at least was moving on fairly quickly. And Beach Read, you know, that part in the middle, it was a little slow for me. So I did like this. I do think it's a good book. I do recommend it. And we'll do final ratings at the end because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 2.75. I'm pretty sure it is, but at the end we'll rate them and rank them. Good morning, happy Friday. It is Friday here, and I have an update on Book Lovers because it's the last one we needed to read. I'm on page 138, which is kind of around here. If you don't follow me on Goodreads, you totally should because I update real time there. But I started this book and I read the prologue and I immediately had to update Goodreads because I liked it that much. Our main character Nora is so funny and so witty, and I love her sarcasm and her humor. And honestly, the guy, what's his name, Charlie, same. I love these characters. I feel like they're very much me, you know. I can definitely relate to them a lot more than the other characters because I'm not bubbly. I'm not the sunshine of Grumpy Sunshine, like, but I'm not a grumpy either, like, but these people, I can see myself in them. Anyway, I really am liking this. And yesterday I didn't even update you on anything because I really didn't do much. I did start this book and was loving it, but we also just didn't go anywhere. We stayed in. And what I did do was wake up insanely early and get ready and all that because Fairly did that early access for When the Moon Hatched, and I really wanted that book because everybody's been raving about it, saying it's amazing, and this is gonna have like holographic foiling, so I wanted it. And honestly, I was in line for about, I don't know, 3 hours. And then when I got there, it said it was just a pre-order. So I don't know. But I guess they did run out. However, then they went on and they were like, we got more books to sell, but not signed. Which I never care if a book is signed by an author or not. Like, I just don't care. I just want the book. So yeah, I guess a lot of people are going to be able to get this, which is good. Because usually you just can't. But I am subscribed to Fairy Loot, so I never really have an issue with that. You just have to really be ready and make sure that all your stuff's good to go by 11 a.m. At least 11 Eastern time. Anyway, so Book Lovers, what is this about? We have Nora and Charlie. Nora is a literary agent and Charlie's an editor, and they live in New York City. They're used to that life, right? The NYC life, city life. They always dress amazingly with name brand clothing. She's always in heels. He's always dressed impeccably. And this is something she points out, which is why I'm bringing that up. Because she points it out multiple times. But they meet at the beginning of the book. And I think it was a prologue. I think that's why I made such a big deal about it. Because they meet and they do not like each other. They meet for a professional lunch and they tear each other apart. Not like super hardcore, but they're definitely not professional. And then literally chapter 1, we start 2 years later. So 2 years after that event, which seemingly they didn't have any communication. But 2 years later, she goes on a vacation to this small town because her sister ropes her into it, and she loves her sister. That's like her favorite person in the world. She would do anything for her sister, and her sister's going through it right now. Nora knows that her sister's going through something, but we don't know what. We're just assuming that it's because she's pregnant with her third child. She's tired from the other two toddlers that she already has, and she's emotional, she's all this, but we're just thinking that it's because she's pregnant. But Nora's thinking it's a little bit more than that, and she also feels like they've drifted apart throughout the years. They were raised by a single mom. They had kind of a tough life, but a really fun childhood. Even though it was a little tough, it was fun. But we don't know the whole story yet. Obviously, we don't know the whole story, and it's an Emily Henry book, so I'm guessing all this deep stuff's gonna be coming out. But she's trying to reconnect with her sister, and her sister read a book from one of Nora's clients that just blew up. It's become bestseller, right? And it takes place in this little town, and the sister's like, we have to go. And so they end up taking the vacation where they're gonna be there for like a whole month in this little town. And once they're there, it's not like what it seems, but she ends up meeting Charlie again, and it's just very serendipitous, I guess, because she sees him again and she tries to hide from him, but it's just such a little town that they end up meeting up again, and they pick up just like they left off. The banter, amazing. The quips, the wittiness, I love it. I love that they're always at each other's throats, but it also always is laced with playfulness and flirtiness. But they still go hard. It's just laced with all these other emotions. And I mean, something happened recently that leads us to believe that they're already admitting to each other that they're, you know, into each other and all that. But because they're from the same world and from the same city, they're like, we can't cross that line because we have to work together and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm really liking this so far. I need to check the ratings on Goodreads to see how this fares. But I think from what I gather, it's even higher rated than Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. And it's for me. It's for me so far. That being said, I hope I don't jinx myself and then it ends badly, because I'm not even halfway yet. I'm like, I guess I'd say like 40%-ish. So I hope it just stays strong, because I need another 5-star. Happy Place so far has been my only like definitive that I could have said for sure was 5-star. And then Funny Story was close, but I need another 5-star. And this is giving me the feels. I just hope it stays strong. I finished Book Lovers, and so now we can talk about it, wrap it up, rate and rank them all, because I have now sat on this for quite a bit. I think it's been like 2 weeks at this point. So I hope that I remember the books, because I do forget that quickly. But anyway, Book Lovers, it started off so strong for me. We meet our main character and we're kind of in her head, and their interactions from the start was my favorite thing. I love their wittiness. They're so smart, they're so sharp-tongued and quick, and I love that they're always at each other's throats. But it's never like rude or mean or anything like that. It's always funny and just playful but sharp. You know what I mean? And I think that I like witty characters, and these people were definitely witty. I also liked all the other characters. I felt like even the minor characters, the little townspeople, everybody was cute, and everybody played a part in the book and my enjoyment of the book. Their problems and their issues were there, as they always are with Emily Henry books, but I didn't feel they were as heavy as, like, say, Happy Place. But they were there and they were addressed, and I was okay with it. It wasn't anything too emotional or anything like that. But as I said, I'm an emotional cripple. I really liked everything about it. I liked the pacing. I liked that we carried on this banter and this wittiness throughout the whole book. I liked that there were some book references, because you would expect that from a book called Book Lovers. And since she was a literary agent and he was an editor, clearly they knew their stuff. It was literally their job. But yeah, I really ended up liking this one. I felt like it felt very fast paced to me because of them. Their chemistry, I felt it from the beginning. I felt like as soon as I met them, I was like, I get it. I get them. And so I really liked it for that reason. But now that we've kind of talked about it, let's go ahead and rate and rank all the books, because I've finalized my ratings. I literally had to sit down right now and be like, what did I truly think? What am I really feeling? And Sometimes I don't rank books against each other. Like, I don't rate them against each other, but sometimes I can't help it. So if I'm reading an author's whole catalog, I'm gonna compare them. You know what I mean? So because of that, there was some books where I changed the ratings. Actually, pretty much all of them, with the exception of two. Two, I knew right off the bat, this is what you're getting. The other three, I had to think about. So let's start off at the bottom, the one that came in at number 5. But let me just say, before we get into that, all her books are good. I mean, the woman is regarded as one of the best modern contemporary romance authors because she is. All her books felt different to me. All the relationships felt different to me. I didn't feel like it was a copy paste. I didn't feel like I was reading the same story, different font. You know what I mean? I felt like they were all uniquely their own books, but I could see her in her influence throughout all the books. And I did feel like some of them were more similar to others. There was like some story structures, but that's a whole other thing. I rate and read for enjoyment. I try not to dissect any books, but sometimes I can't help but notice similarities. For instance, when she does those like timelines where she is doing flashbacks to propel the plot, move along the story, she's so good. She's so good at what she does. So even my worst rated and ranked book was good. Let's get into it. So coming in at number 5 is one that really surprised me because some of you told me this was your favorite. Some of you told me on Goodreads. Some of you had even said it in previous YouTube videos. And I was expecting to love this because it is very beloved. And it's not the lowest rated Emily Henry book. So it just didn't work. It didn't work for me. It's Beach Read. I'm sorry. I obviously don't think it's bad. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. It just wasn't my favorite, and I think it's because, first of all, I didn't fully love the characters. To me, they weren't really likable, and that's fine. Sometimes there's very unlikable characters that I'll fall in love with, but for them, I just felt like I didn't feel connected to them. I didn't feel drawn to them, and one of those has to happen for me to actually say that I like the characters, and neither of them happened. So I will say that like they weren't horrible characters, they're just, it wasn't my thing. And then the exploration, like switching the genres was cool and all, but I think I just expected too much and didn't get it. So yeah, even their issues and all that, like I thought were impactful and stuff, it just, even though I could relate with January, the girl, and her stuff with her dad on some level, even that I wasn't enough. So I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. The middle of this book, I got a little bored. I definitely was like, this is moving too slowly. Like I know what is happening, and this has been happening for a while. We need to move forward. We need to go on. And so that was a big part of this being my number 5, because in the middle I was getting bored. So 3.5 stars for Beach Read, which is not a bad rating. Like I said, this woman could do no wrong. She is an auto-buy author for me. I will buy every single book that she puts out because they're all good. This one was my least favorite. Coming in at number 4 is her lowest rated of the bunch, actually. And I guess I can see it. Although, like I said, I don't think any of these were bad. This one seemed the most superficial to me. It was lighthearted. It was fun. I felt like it tried to be what Book Lovers was. Like the characters, where they were witty and they were, kind of throwing little jabs at each other and stuff, but it wasn't to the extent of the Book Lovers characters. Like this just didn't hit as well as those characters did. And also, friend to lovers is not a trope that I love. I don't mind it. I think I have what's it called, In the Holidays by Christina Lauren. That's a Christmas book, which I've said with Christmas books I'm more forgiving because I love Christmas, but that is a 5-star friends to lovers for me. I know there's people that love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I read that a couple years ago and I remember not loving it. I didn't hate it, but I was just like, meh. So I need to reread that to see, was young me just not smart enough or something? But from my experience with Friends to Lovers, it's just not my favorite trope, and I think this one it's pushing me to solidify that thought. But it was good. It was good. It was fun. It was light-hearted. I didn't feel like their issues were too, heavy. It was just fun. Definitely this one and Beach Read are probably two that I'll never reread ever again. I don't think so. So I ended up giving this one 3.75 stars. It was good. It just wasn't, for me, wasn't my favorite. Now, the top three are ones that I know I'll be rereading. I've already read one of them again. And yeah, they're just so good. They're not all 5 stars, but they're all so good. And I just feel like this is definitely what solidified me being an Emily Henry superfan. These 3 books are all uniquely themselves. They're all different, but they're all so, so good. And they all had different things that I loved about each one of them. So at number 3, we have one that I don't own. So it is Funny Story. I loved this, and I did change my rating of it because I was too harsh on it, and I think it was just because I was being super critical in that reading vlog. But like I said, I can't help but compare the books now that I read them together and adjust the ratings accordingly because I read them together, you know what I mean? And this is just so good. I felt like I had so much fun with it. The end I didn't love. I feel like the first 70% of the book, I was super into it. I really liked her main characters. I really liked the relationship. The premise was amazing. It's probably my favorite part of it, the premise. And then the characters, I really liked them. I really liked them together. Individually, I don't know if I would have loved them, but together, the relationship that they had, I loved. I just felt like it was so nice. Like, it's something that I would have wanted. I would have wanted someone like Miles to be there for me. You know what I mean? To make things better. And I really liked that there was some growth. There was some character development. She ends up finding out who she is, what she likes, what she wants. And he ends up becoming more grounded, more sure of himself, more present for himself. So I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4.25 stars and my number 3 spot. I definitely know that I'll be rereading this at some point, either this year or next year, but it will get reread for sure. And then at number 2, we have a 5-star read, Book Lovers. We just talked about it. I really like this. From the start, I liked the characters and it carried on throughout. I liked both of them equally, which is rare for me because usually I'll pick a favorite. I'll either like the FMC or the MMC, and usually it's the guy that I prefer over the girl because sometimes the girls can get annoying in books, especially romance books. But with hers, I don't feel like her female characters are annoying, which is good. But with this one, I loved them both equally. Like, I really couldn't pick a favorite. I liked them both. I liked him just as much as I liked her. I felt like they complemented each other so well. They were so similar, but they were also different. And I just really liked that about them. I felt like they were such a great duo. And they really carried this book. The plot moved along so quickly for me because they were on the page just enough. I wanted them and they were there. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get attached to characters and I feel like I'm just waiting for them to come back on the page. What was I reading? Oh, yeah. I'm filming another reading vlog at the same time, and I'm reading a book over there, which I'll just tell you, it's Shadow and Bone. It's from my bookshelf ultimatum, so spoiler alert. But that is the first book in the bookshelf ultimatum that got drawn. And I'm just waiting for the Darkling to be back on the page, and then I'm reading the book just waiting for him to come back. You know what I mean? The rest of the story, I just don't care about. The rest of the characters, I just don't care about. They could all die and I don't care, but I'm like waiting for the Darkling to come back. So that's my point. With this, I felt like I didn't even have to wait. They were there. And if it was either like one of them was there or the other one was there and it was okay, I didn't need them both. I didn't need them separately. Like, as long as one of them was there, it was enough. And even at that, when they weren't on page, when we're like focusing on other things that weren't all about them, I still liked the book. So I had to give it 5 stars. I definitely recommend it. If you are a book lover yourself, I feel like you will like it. And even if you're not, it wasn't all about books and publishing and the industry and all that, but you just get little glimpses on how things work. And it did help for me because I never even considered literary agents. I knew of editors, but I never have cared about how publishing works. And so you did get little snippets of it and what it is that they do and their purpose and all that. But so good. I will for sure be rereading this. 5 stars. If they ever make like a special edition, like I know Beach Read's getting one, but if they ever make one of this, I'm buying it. I wish that they would because I love this book so much. 5 stars. And then we all know what my number 1 is. I mean, I have read this and reread it, and I would read it again if I had time because I love it. I love everything about this book. I love the characters. I love that it's more than just our main characters. We do have the friend group. It is more of an ensemble, but you know, there is the stars and the supporting characters. But it's just so good. And I know that not everybody loves this book. This is very much a me book. I've talked to several people, several of you, that you didn't love this. Some of you in DNF'd it, and it's fine because, like I said, reading is so subjective. We all like different things, and it's cool. It's fine. I think it's even better because we can discuss it and we can just be like, he's right or she's right or no, girl, that just doesn't work for me, and that's fine. I think it's just cool to talk about books, you know, even if they're bad books to one of us and they're not to the other. Like, I just think overall books are fun. And so yeah, I love this. I think I've mentioned it plenty of times. If you watch my videos consistently, you know that I love this. I love the characters. I love the premise, the plot. I love the way that she utilizes the flashbacks. I think they definitely propelled the plot. It was just so good, and it was definitely impactful. Very kind of like Project Hail Mary-ish, where I was talking about how flashbacks were propelling the story. That is how I felt about this, even though we're going to the past. I just felt like, you know, it was done really well, and it actually made me feel something. And for someone that doesn't feel much, that is saying something. I also deeply connected to the female main character. This is very much a me book. Like, I very much, you know, when you say like, oh, she wrote this for me, that's how I feel about this book, because the things that the female main character is going through, I've felt them. And so, you know, because I personally feel attached to her, it's obviously gonna be my favorite. And actually, I went to Goodreads and I made shelves because I needed to do a little something. I was just putting what was reading and currently reading, but I went through and put like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, and I did a 6-star shelf, and that's the only book on my 6-star shelf for now, because like I said, even though I've read for a lot of my life, I never really was rating things, and at this point I don't remember anything. So it's like things are just starting brand new. So that's the only one right now that I have on my 6-star shelf where I'm like, this book was written for me. This is one of my favorite books of all time, which is saying something. So anyway, I'm sure I've talked so much. I always talk a lot, but that was the whole point. That was the whole point of this channel. And I just feel giddy. I feel happy. And I think that's the mark of a great author. Like, to leave me still thinking about these books, still wanting to talk your ear off about these books. Like, I could go on and on. We could literally dissect these books. Like, I wish I had like a book club or something where we could talk about these things, but I just love I love those books that much, especially this one. I love it that much. Anyway, it was a good time, a good reading blog, reading Emily Henry books. I was a little nervous at the starting with Beach Read. I was like, no, this is supposed to be the best one. What's happening? But like I said, reading is so subjective, and I should have known that there was going to be one for me. And luckily there was 3 that were really for me out of the 5. So yeah, for sure. I hope that she keeps releasing books because I will buy them all. Anyway, let me know what is your rating? If you've read them all, leave the rating down below because I'm super interested. Like, I know a couple of you have told me before which ones you don't like and which ones you do like. Remind me. But if you've read them all, leave the rating because I think that'll be really interesting. Anyway, thank you so much for spending time with me. I'm gonna go ahead and continue the other vlog and start another one because why not? I am in such a reading mood as I've been. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. If you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon with another one. Bye.